This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yes. I've heard it once, and I think I've heard it before. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Thursday, February the 12th of 2026. And we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big.
Yep, hanging out with Radio Big. We are coming across that multiverse, as I like to call it, of Radio Big, of Safety FM. We are coming across on iHeartRadio, Odyssey, Podcast Catchers 2.0. We are streaming across multiple social media networks. And then to stack it on top of everything else, of course, we're video streaming at the same time, too. If you do not want to do it on social media, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com and click on where it says visual radio. Yep, visual radio will do the trick for you. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the multiverse. Anyways, how has the last 24 hours or so been? Yeah, because that was the last time I was hanging out over here. That's why I asked the question. If you've definitely been watching the news cycles, man, what an interesting time it's been over the last 24. That's for sure. I will definitely say that one. But we're going to get into some weird stuff today. You know, we're going to continue talking about other things that are going on inside of the world. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. So as we go through all of this, what will end up taking place is that we bring in some professional broadcasters. As they come about and start talking about everything that's going on, it's kind of a simple process. They'll tell you everything that's happening, and then I'll come in and talk about some other stuff that is happening inside of the world, and then we'll go down that whole thing here of what's going on, and then I'll give you some versionality of a main story, and then we just go from there. That is the whole thing. That is kind of how we lay out the land. Simple process. We go through the whole thing. If you want to interact with the show, callinradio.com. Yeah, not a joke as I say that. Callinradio.com will get you where you need to be, and then we'll just go straight through the process. Easy. Do you say easy peasy? I mean, some people say that, but sure. So it'll be one of those easier things in regards to what's going on. So if you're good with that, I'm good with that. We'll do some stuff together and then move forward. So what do you think? Some things to think about? I think so. So why don't we go ahead and do this? Let me go ahead and bring in my friends from Feature Story News. They're going to tell you about what's exactly going on inside of the world at the moment. and then we'll proceed forward. So if you're good with that, I'm good with it here because, we're on the Rated R Safety Show. So let's get to it right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Stuart Smith. President Donald Trump says nothing definitive came from his meeting with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on the topic of Iran. The two leaders met at the White House on Wednesday, with Israel pressing the US to consider its demands in the negotiations with Tehran, its sworn enemy. Tony Waterman has more from Washington.
In a social media post after the meeting, President Trump said he insisted to Netanyahu that negotiations with Iran will continue to see if a deal can be reached, and that nothing definitive had come from his talks with the Israeli Prime Minister. Netanyahu had moved forward a trip to Washington to try and convince President Trump to expand the scope of negotiations with Iran, to include not only its nuclear program, but also its ballistic missile program. Israel sees both as a threat to its very existence. Trump reiterated his desire for a deal, but implied he'd be willing to take more military action against Iran if that didn't happen. Tony Waterman, Washington.
India is watching closely as neighbouring Bangladesh goes to the polls today, its first national election since Sheikh Hasina was ousted in 2024. Analysts say the result could reshape New Delhi's security and economic interests across the eastern subcontinent. Ishan Garg has more from New Delhi.
Bangladesh is voting in a high-stakes election that will decide who replaces the interim government of Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus, with the pro-India Awami League barred from contesting. The main fight is between the Bangladesh Nationalist Party and an Islamist-leaning alliance led by Jamaat-e-Islami. New Delhi fears a less friendly government could allow anti-India insurgents groups, Pakistan's intelligence services or China to gain a bigger foothold along its eastern flank, and is also watching for any rise in attacks on Bangladesh's Hindu minority. Water sharing, border management and transit routes vital for India's northeast could be all back on the negotiating table once a government takes office. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is urging the Manchester United co-owner, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, to apologise for comments about immigration. The billionaire said in an interview that the UK has been colonised by immigrants. Downing Street says the remarks play into the hands of those who want to divide our country. Labour MP Florence Eshalomi says the comments were wrong.
It's about how we recognise that in some parts of the country we may have an issue in terms of illegal immigration, but actually we need to talk up the benefits of migration and talk about the benefits that many people from such different diverse backgrounds have brought to the country.
NATO has announced it's begun its mission in the Arctic region in an effort to combat perceived threats posed by Russia and China. The move comes in the wake of President Donald Trump's claim that the US needs the Danish territory of Greenland for national security purposes. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, for all the drama on Capitol Hill during Attorney General Pam Bondi's congressional testimony on Wednesday, where is the Epstein probe in the United States heading? Lawmakers who saw unreleased redacted documents shown to them by Department of Justice officials this week say at least 6 wealthy, prominent men allegedly co-conspired with Jeffrey Epstein to traffic women. But will any of them see criminal charges? Philip Lacavara is an American lawyer and legal scholar. He served as counsel to Special Prosecutor Archibald Cox during the Watergate era.
I don't think anybody else is going to be indicted, which is the odd part of it, because he did not do this alone. There were apparently many other men who were taking advantage of the women that Epstein provided to them, and yet none of them has been subjected to any sort of prosecution or any other kind of consequences. And indeed, one of the things that Pam Bondi is being pushed on during these current hearings is that the Justice Department appears to have concealed the names of some of the people who were involved with Epstein while improperly disclosing the names and identities of some of the victims themselves. So it's an odd inversion of what should have been going on.
Despite numerous questions from lawmakers, the Attorney General offered no explanation of her conduct on Wednesday. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, US lawmakers have voted to terminate President Donald Trump's tariffs on Canada, with 6 Republicans Republicans joining Democrats in the House of Representatives, now sending the bill to the Senate. President Donald Trump says nothing definitive came from his meeting with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu when they met to discuss Iran on Wednesday, and Bangladeshis are heading to the polls in the country's first national election since Sheikh Hasina was ousted in 2024. That's the latest feature story news. Stuart Smith reporting.
Listen to our host
of the Rated R Safety Show
self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns. This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns, and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game. With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, here we are, 14 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Thursday. Don't call this damn thing Friday Junior. No, I'm just kidding. So there you go. So let's go ahead and get into some of the stuff that's going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that is kind of what's been happening. So let's get into it. A man briefly was detained in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie, is publicly denying any involvement after being released by police. Let's see. Carlos Palazuelos of Rio Rico, Arizona, was detained on late Tuesday, night following a traffic stop roughly 60 miles south of Tucson, where Nancy lives. Authorities later released him without charges. Speaking to reporters outside of his home, Palazuelos repeatedly insisted that he had nothing to do with the case, saying, "I didn't do anything," and adding that he hopes that the police find the real suspects so he can clear his name. Also, Carlos said that he was stopped while working and claimed that officers initially gave him no explanation and said that he was stunned when he later learned that the detention was connected to a kidnapping. He told reporters that he does not follow the news and said that he did not know who Nancy Guthrie or her daughter Savannah are. He also said police searched both his car and his home, but did not question him. Take a listen. Take a listen, maybe?
They put me in the cop car. I hope they get the suspect, because I'm not it.
What were they asking you about?
Where my whereabouts.
Okay.
Where do I work? Where was I and all that, but...
Are you ever up in Tucson?
Yeah, I work in Tucson.
What do you do?
GLS, deliver packages.
Okay, do you think you might have delivered a package to Nancy Guthrie's house?
I don't know, might have been a possibility, I don't know.
Yeah, do you ever deliver like Amazon packages or anything?
Well, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, so do you think you may have, did they indicate that you might have been on her property?
Nah.
You're not sure?
Nah, they just came up, they until right now, all I know is that they show my in-law a picture of somebody wearing a mask or something, and they supposedly look like my eyes.
Right. Okay.
That's it. That's all I know.
So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. Still, I mean, it's still an ongoing case in regards of everything that's happening. No doubt about that, because I mean, until she is found, unless things have changed drastically since the last time I was looking at this is going to be kind of an interesting one as we're going forward, because, you know, the time keeps on ticking in regards of the length of time since she has disappeared. So that's going to be the other aspect of the whole thing as we continue to move forward. Seriously, I mean, just think about it as we are talking. I guess as we are still talking about this, let's go ahead and talk about this. The mystery surrounding the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie has taken another turn after a third alleged ransom note was reportedly sent, this time to TMZ, demanding cryptocurrency in exchange for information about the kidnapping. According to TMZ, the letter calls for a payment of 1 Bitcoin, valued roughly at $66,000, in return to the name of the individual involved in the abduction of the 84-year-old mother of the Today Show host. The note reportedly includes the working Bitcoin address that has been confirmed as active. TMZ founder Harvey Levin discussed the letter yesterday on Fox News America Newsroom, saying that the demand emphasizes urgency but offering no proof that the sender actually has legitimate information. Levin said that it remained unclear whether the note is authentic or simply another attempt of somebody working a high-profile case. I guess kind of working an angle there. It's kind of where it looks like. So what do you think? Some interesting times in regards of this, of what's going on. I don't know. Every time you think that you know where this is going or kind of have some general idea, it takes a turn for something else. No doubt about that. So there you go. Okay, so where do we want to jump today? Because we got some stuff. There is no doubt here. So let's do this. Let's go with this angle. A federal grand jury in Washington rejected the Justice Department attempt to indict 6 Democratic lawmakers over a viral video telling the U.S. service members that they are not required to follow illegal orders. The video was organized by Senator Elisa Slotkin of Michigan, a former CIA analyst, and features Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona, along with Representative Jason Crow from Colorado, Maggie Goodlander from New Hampshire, Chrissy Halsen and Chris DeLucio from Pennsylvania, all veterans or former national security officials. It was posted online after the Trump administration began deadly aerial strikes or suspected drug smuggling boats in the Caribbean last fall. President Donald Trump labeled the video as, I guess, something that he did not like, claiming that George Washington would have had lawmakers hanged for treason. So there you go. The Justice Department, led in D.C. by U.S. Attorney Janina Pirro, pursued the criminal investigation, including FBI outreach to Capitol Hill security officials on Tuesday night. The grand jury said no, declining and bringing charges. Ogden praised the jurors as anonymous American citizens who upheld the rule of law while blasting what she called the administration weaponizing the justice system. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are talking. Let's go ahead and get into this one, because this was, there is just no other way to put this. This was a total clusterfuck yesterday in regards to what was going on. Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, testified in Capitol Hill yesterday, and she lost her cool. Take a listen.
I really think that is a disgraceful approach to the homicides of American citizens, and really does nothing to bring credit to your department. And, Mr. Chairman, I would yield back.
Gentlelady yields back.
May I answer?
Attorney General can respond.
I find it interesting that she keeps going after President Trump, the greatest president in American history. And if they could maintain their composure, this isn't a circus, this is a hearing. I find it interesting she keeps going after Donald Trump. She doesn't say how much money she took from Reid Hoffman, did you? None. And nor did
Mr.
she
Chairman,
post
regular
anything.
order, please.
She
regular
posted
order.
nothing on her X account, on her Twitter account during the Biden years.
Gentlelady.
Yet now, all of a sudden,
question
she's
asked.
going after.
Committee will be in order.
There was no question
Shame on you.
Attorney.
I will tell you, I don't really normally watch anything kind of related to stuff like this, but I watched a good chunk of some of this hearing yesterday, or at least clips of it, and I'm talking about like large chunk segments of it, and I don't even know how to explain some of it on how some of this went off the rails so badly. It got to the point that it almost sounded like, when you're interacting with a child and they get caught doing something, and then they want to call everybody and their brother out who was doing wrong things before they got caught. It almost came across a lot like that. Now, listen, I was debating this morning about playing good chunks of this information with Pam Bondi, and it was just one of those things that I was like, I don't think this will be in the best interest of what we do here. In regards of doing that, but I looked at it, and believe me, I even went as far as getting videos, kind of getting those pulled in regards of it. But I was like, hey, when it's all said and done, that is not going to kind of continue what we needed to do here. So that's going to be one of those things as we are talking. So let's continue talking about some other stuff that are going on. Matter of fact, let me backtrack for a moment. If we get some answers here of some of the stuff that was going on with what they're calling the Jeffrey Epstein files, then we'll probably talk a little bit more about that. But I don't think that kind of hearing this outside of the other normal media outlets, that I'm going to be doing you a service in regards of giving you more information about that. I'm just saying in general. So there you go. So that's kind of the reason why we're going to skedaddle from that for the moment. But don't worry. We'll talk about it as other things start coming to light. So don't worry about any of that. So there you go. So a couple things here that we want to talk about. NBC has issued an apology after misgendering a Swedish skier during the Winter Olympics coverage while they were competing in the women's freestyle moguls event. Commentators of the international feed aired at NBC Peacock platform repeatedly referred to him using the wrong pronouns. NBC quickly pulled the footage from the platform and social media, explaining that the commentary came from a non-NBC international feed. The network said that it takes issues seriously and apologized to both the viewers and to Lundholm. Lundholm, 23, is the only openly transgender athlete competing this year in the Winter Games and is participating under current International Olympic Committee guidelines, which allows athletes to compete after approval from their national federation. He was previously said that he was comfortable competing in women's division and feels he's been treated fairly. So there you go. That's what's going on inside of there as we are talking. Let's talk about a couple of other things real quick, if you do not mind, of course. Want to talk real quick, if you are not aware of this, James Van Der Beek has died following a battle with stage 3 colorectal cancer. His wife, Kimberly Van Der Beek, announced his passing on Instagram, saying that he died peacefully and faced his final days with courage, faith, and grace while asking for privacy as the family grieves. Van Der Beek, best known for Dawson's Creek and Varsity Blues, was diagnosed after a routine colonoscopy in August of 2023. He publicly shared his diagnosis in November of 2024, saying that he was focused on treatment, his health, and his family, and expressed optimism at the time. The actor was open about how shocking the diagnosis was, especially given his active lifestyle, described cancer as a full-time job that tested his emotionally and physically. He said that one of the hardest parts was telling loved ones, particularly his 6 children, but also spoke movingly about the overwhelming support that he received from friends and fans. Van Der Beek made his final public appearance in December, telling Today that he was feeling strong and more hopeful, calling the experience life-changing journey. He is survived by Kimberly and their 6 children. In some other news related to this, let's continue talking. GoFundMe was launched for James Van Der Beek grieving family, surpassed $500,000. A goal just hours after the news of the star's death was announced. Van Der Beek is survived by his longtime wife and kids, daughter Olivia, Annabelle, Amelia, and there's several of these children, so there you go. Her husband in death was posted on Instagram as we did talk, and the GoFundMe has already been funded. Overall, terrible news in regards to it. Don't know if you're very familiar with Dawson's Creek, because I want to say that show came out probably closer on the 30-year end at this point as we are talking. But man, what a terrible thing to hear. Seemed like such a nice person in regards to like the stuff that he was doing overall, in some of the passions that he was doing in regards to some of the work that he was portraying. So there you go. Terrible news as we continue to hear some of this stuff as it's going on. There is no doubt about that as we are talking. Okay, so let's continue going down the path and talking about some other things that are going on. McDonald's has tried to class up Valentine's Day by launching its first ever McNugget Caviar kits, a tongue-in-cheek pairing chicken nuggets and premium caviar. The kits were offered free online and included a 1 ounce of caviar, a $25 arch card for nuggets, cream fraîche, and a mother of pearl spoon. The problem? They vanished almost instantly. All 750 kits sold out within minutes, with many fans saying that the website crashed and accusing bots and influencers of snagging the prizes. McDonald's said the demand was so intense that it caused site disruption and suggested disappointing fans upgraded their nuggets to hot honey sauce instead. That's response didn't go over well, especially as the kits and even order confirmations quickly popped up on eBay for prices from $90 to as high as $400. So let me make sure that I understand this, because this is kind of a weird one. 750 kits, they're giving them away for free. Also has a $25 gift card, and people were not happy that they vanished right away for something that they didn't have to pay for. Seems kind of weird.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
I'm just saying. I mean, what did I say wrong? What did I say that wasn't true there? I mean, come on, man. Come on. What are we going to do here? It's just one of those weird things. I never know. I look at this and just go, it's kind of a strange time when it's all said and done. I mean, we look at it and go, what is happening here? So, okay, take a listen to this. A family is suing Miami Dollar Tree for more than $50 million after Dr. Helen Maciel Garage Sanchez, a 32-year-old Nicaraguan anesthesiologist and mother of 2, was found dead inside of a store walk-in freezer as an employee discovered her naked and unresponsive in a restrictive area on the morning of December the 14th. An autopsy I can't even talk. So anyways, they found her, and they found that her blood alcohol level was 0.112% above the legal limit. With no drugs in her system, her official cause of death was environmental hyperthermia, with alcohol listed as a contributing factor. Police say that Sanchez entered the Dollar Tree and it closed the night before and didn't buy anything. And surveillance video allegedly shows her walking into an employee-only area alone. Investigators found no sound of foul play and said that the freezer door had an emergency release. The lawsuit tells a different story, claiming that Sanchez got trapped and that the store manager failed to act after being alerted that she was missing. Her family says the reasonable steps could have saved her life. Dollar Tree says that it's cooperating with authorities. Sanchez was visiting family in Miami while her children were back at home in Nicaragua. Loved ones described her as a dedicated doctor specializing in congenital heart disease and a devoted mom whose life ended in place that no one would ever die. A discount store freezer. So there you go. What do you think? Some stuff going on there, that's for sure. I mean, what a turn of events that sounds like. Can't even describe that one in its full glory. I mean, that's just crazy. You die inside of a cooler, essentially. So there you go. Okay, let's continue talking. Lindsey Vonn, gutsy Olympic comeback just got even tougher.
Duh.
The skiing legend revealed that she's undergone her third surgery of the brutal leg break that ended her Winter Olympics return. Vonn has already was racing with a torn ACL in her left knee, but she's been adamant that the injury had nothing to do with the crash. During the downhill final, she caught the gate just a few inches, lost control, suffered a complex fracture of her left tibia, the same leg. She was in obvious agony on the slope, had to be calmed by medics, and then was airlifted into the mountains as the crowd felt silence. Posting from the hospital bed in Italy, Vonn said that the latest surgery was successful, noting that success now means simply making slow, steady progress. She thanked the medical team, her support system, and Team USA athletes who are still competing and giving her something to cheer on about. So there you go. What a crazy time. I mean, the lady was trying to make a comeback here. And I mean, you could say she made the comeback because she made it to the team. But if you look at that scenario when she's coming down, I mean, it is a violent attack there in the airflow. I mean, she hits that gate and just kind of does the spin. Can't even say it any other way.
All sarcasm with an Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so it's about that time. Let's go ahead and get into our main story, if you don't mind.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so, we've been kind of trying to stack some of these things. We've been talking about this. We've been talking about that. We've been talking about form, formless, no form, understanding this, removing the clay, building the sculpture. All of the stuff. That's just been this week. That's not talking about everything else that we normally talk about, but that's kind of giving you some of the stuff that we have going on. So let's get into the nitty gritty today. Yeah, I did say the nitty gritty because I think it's going to be important to talk about. And let's get something straight right out of the gate. You're not important. Yeah, I said that. And before you get bent out of shape here and start, drafting a LinkedIn post about toxic narratives and safety leadership, just hang with me for just a minute because I want to explain this. Because this isn't about your ego. It's about your illusion. And let me explain what I mean here when I'm saying this. We walk around organizations acting like the world revolves around us, like our title matters, like our badge color means something, like the fact that we have been there for 17 years gives us some kind of mystical connection to how work actually should be done. Meanwhile, the people doing the real work, they figured out how to survive in spite of us, not because of us, in spite of us, and that's the uncomfortable part. See, we love to believe that we're the ones keeping the place from falling apart. That if we don't show up tomorrow, chaos would erupt. Alarms would blare. Forklifts would crash into the server rooms and someone would try to microwave aluminum foil just to see what happens. But here's the truth. Well, let's be truthful about it. Most systems are held together by duct tape. quiet competence, and people who have learned not to tell you what's really going on. And that should scare the hell out of you, if anything. Because when you believe that you're the center of the universe, you stop listening. You start performing. You start protecting your reputation instead of protecting people. You start defending programs instead of understanding reality. You know what I see all the time? Leaders walking into facilities like they're royalty, clipboard in hand, hard hat tilted just to the right, and safety glasses on like they're about to defuse a bomb. I'm not joking as I say this. I mean, I know it sounds a little comical when it's come said and done, but I'm being serious. And workers, they're performing. They're giving you the tour version. The we've cleaned up because corporate is here version. The we don't mention work around this version. And you walk out thinking, man, we really built a strong culture here. No, you built a strong theater production, and everyone knows their lines. You know why this happens? Because you made it about you, your metrics, your dashboards, your bonuses, your audit scores, and your damn poster on the hall with your face next to the word commitment. When the leaders make safety about themselves, workers make safety about survival. And survival always wins. And let's take it one step further. You know what's wild? The most dangerous people in an organization aren't the ones breaking the rules. It's the ones who think they can't be wrong. The ones who say things like, I've been doing this for 25 years. I know how people operate. That would never happen here. That's ego talking. And ego is a hell of a blindfold because incidents don't happen in places you're watching. They happen in the gaps you refuse to see. And those gaps exist because you're too busy being self-important, too busy speaking, not busy enough observing, too busy announcing change, not busy enough understanding how work actually happens on a Tuesday at 2:17 p.m. when the supervisors are out sick and the shipment's late and someone's kid has a fever at home. That's where risk lives. Not in your PowerPoint, not in the annual objectives, in the messy human inconvenience middle of real life. And here's the shift. What if you're not the hero? What if you're not the variable? What if the moment you walk into a room, the system changes? What if your experiences increases silence instead of safety? That's a hard pill to swallow, and I get that. Because we like being the fixers, the protectors, the ones with the answers. But the real work of safety, it's not about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about being the safest person to tell the truth, too. And that requires something most organizations don't reward: humility. The willingness to say, I don't know, help me understand, what am I missing? How does this actually work when no one's watching? You want to know how important you really are? Leave. Not dramatically, not angrily, just step back. Watch what keeps working without you. Watch what improves when you're stop hovering. Watch how conversations change when your authority isn't suffocating the oxygen out of the room. That's your impact. Not the speech, not the memo, not the quarterly town hall where everyone claps politely and then goes back into doing whatever the hell they were doing before. Impact is what remains when you're not there. And if everything collapses when you leave, that's not leadership, that's dependency. And dependency is fragile as hell. Now, let's be real for a second. This is rated R. So here is the corporate, without the corporate polish. If you think success is because of you, you're probably the biggest risk in the building. Yeah, I said that again. Because arrogance doesn't wear a hard hat labeled hazard. It wears a badge saying director. It shows up with confidence and leaves you blind spots. And no one calls it out because no one wants to be the person who challenges the boss. So the illusion continues until it doesn't. Until a day something goes sideways and suddenly everyone says, we didn't see that coming, but someone did. They just didn't say that it was, have a safe way to tell you this information. That's the cost of importance. So here's your challenge. The next time you walk into your organization, ask yourself, am I here to be seen or am I here to see? Am I here to reinforce my identity or am I here to understand reality? Because if safety becomes about preserving your image instead of protecting your people, you've already lost the plot. And the system knows that. Even if you don't. You're not that important. But your behavior, your reaction, your openness, your willingness to shut up and listen, that matters more than you think. So drop the crown, lose the script, ditch the performance, and maybe, just maybe, you'll create a space where the truth shows up before the incident does. And that's worth more than any damn title on your email signature. This has been the Rated R Safety Show, at least the main story. Stay uncomfortable because you want to know something kind of amazing? When you're in the comfort zone, that is where the bullshit truly starts to grow. No, like seriously, it really does. I don't even know how to explain that to people. Think about it. If you're in that comfort zone, how much bullshit is brought up in there where you even start believing it yourself?
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at RadioBig.fm.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice. Sold your rebellion as a new initiative. And smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission. About what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author J. Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
Well,
Well, you know that here at Safety FM and Radio Big, we're always trying to look for life hacks. So with the busy season just around the corner, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for your jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kits, can help you fuel up with fast chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, and ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Refresh your healthy habits without missing a beat. Choose from 34 weekly flavored packs. Dietitian-approved meals ready to eat in 2 minutes. All you need to do is head over to factorsmeals.com/safetyfm50 and use code safetyfm50 to get 50% off. That's code safetyfm50 at factormeals.com/safetyfm50 to get 50% off. Go there. Do it now.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Here we go. Currently 46 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out. This right here is Smacked Youth. Song's titled White Line Fever. Oh yeah, you know what I mean there. Song's readily available on Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Music, and Pandora. Yeah, buddy. Some good times there, that's for sure. We would like to thank Smacked Youth for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Because you know me, I love me playing some new music around here anytime that I have the opportunity to do so. So there you go. A lot of stuff always going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's kind of what we do. Okay, so let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends to Write Love on Our Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. And the people at To Write Love on Your Arm want you to know that people have been where you are now and that healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, you're going to see all kinds of information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arm. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there as we are speaking. No doubt or outer about that one. So let me tell you about some other stuff that is going on, because we need to bring this up, of course. Let me tell you about the Conklin Conference coming up in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I just called it the wrong thing. It's the Conklin Workshop. Would love to see you there. We're going to be there in Santa Fe, Hotel Santa Fe to be exact. March the 31st through April the 1st. Would love to see you there. We're going to be hanging out with the likes of Todd Conklin, of course, Britt Sutton, Redonda Voigt, and Ann Laren. We'll be talking about what exactly goes on when you do an investigation of a case to take a look at what the hell's going on. No, seriously, I'm not joking as I say this. Important information as we get to do it, so that's for sure. If you want to know more information about it, go to safetyfm.com and click on the section that says Live Events. If not, you can scan the QR code or just copy and paste a little web address that's on the screen. Once you get there, you'll see all the information about the event and how it's actually going to be coming about, and we would love to see you there. No doubt. No, seriously, I'm being as honest as possible in regards to wanting to see you there. So there you go. Here you go. I'll flash it on the screen one more time. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. I think it's going to be a good time. We'll do some. I would imagine I'll be doing some broadcasting from there, but we'll figure it out the closer that we get, of course, to the event day. So a lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. Okay, so take a listen to this real quick. Canadian authorities are responding to the second deadliest school shooting in the country's history after a gunman killed 9 people in and around Tumbler Ridge Secondary School in British Columbia. The suspect has been identified by multiple media outlets as Jesse Strang, 18. Police have no official confirmed or have not officially confirmed the identity or gender status, referring only to the shooter as a female in a dress. Several sources, including relatives and classmates, say that Jesse was biologically a male and identified as a female using the name Jess, and she and her pronouns online before social media accounts were taken down. The attack began Tuesday afternoon in a school library. 6 people were killed at the school. 25 others were injured, and 1 victim died en route to the hospital. 2 additional bodies were later found nearby a home believed to be connected to the shooter, bringing the death to 9. Students described Jesse as a quiet and isolated. One parent said his son, who attends the school, is now afraid to return. The town of Tumbler Ridge, population of 2,400, is described by locals as an extremely safe and tight-knit community, making the violence especially shocking, strange, and was found dead from what believed to be self-inflicted injury, according to police. A lot of crazy stuff going on up there, that's for sure. As we are talking, by the way, sorry about the cough attack in the middle there. Let's bring some John Smalls into our life. Let him tell us about the Motivation Minute. See where we go here.
Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Tyler. Blaise Pascal said, "In faith, there is enough light for those who want to believe and enough shadows to blind those who don't." Very cool quote. Quite a few quotes have been sent to me about the light. We spoke a little while back about the concept of bringing things into the spotlight. I'm a big fan of that concept. If there are backroom deals or things that can only happen in the shadows, that seems to be wrong to me. Put these things in the spotlight to let people see what you're up to. If you know that's going to happen, it might influence how you choose to do some things. This is why I'm not a fan of screen names. I'm me, whether it's on the radio or on social media or in person. I'm me, always me. I'm okay with you knowing who I am and what I think. And here's the good news. You don't need to agree with me on things. That's okay. We can still be friends. The Motivation Minute. This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
A Safety Show.
Search crews in northern British Columbia are working through the night after a deadly shooting at a high school.
Police say a woman believed to be the shooter is among the dead at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School, where officers arrived within minutes of the first call. They report 8 people killed between the school and a nearby house, with more than 25 others hurt, some in critical condition after being airlifted. Authorities say all students and staff were evacuated and there is no ongoing threat. Benjamin Wright reporting.
The UN is urging South Sudan's leaders to compromise on key security and power-sharing issues to prevent a wider breakdown.
The UN's peacekeeping chief says political deadlock is sharply driving up violence, leaving the world's newest nation, already hit by past war and flooding, on what he calls a dangerous precipice. He reports clashes between rival communities and armed groups are increasing, and humanitarian workers are struggling to reach people in hard-hit regions. Chris Anderson reporting.
Air travelers across West Texas and southern New Mexico are dealing with sudden disruptions after the Federal Aviation Administration briefly shut down the sky over El Paso.
The FAA issued a temporary flight restriction that classified the area around El Paso International Airport and nearby Santa Teresa as national defense airspace for what it called special security reasons. The order warned pilots they could be intercepted, detained, or even face deadly force if they posed an imminent threat, grounding commercial, cargo, and private flights. Lawrence Keller reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
The nation's intelligence services are facing new scrutiny after Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard shut down a high-profile reform task force.
Gabbard created the Directors Initiative Group in April to address what she called politicization inside U.S. intelligence, review costs, and study whether more material on issues like COVID-19 should be made public. Critics in Congress and the intelligence community feared the panel could instead weaken agencies and align analysis more closely with President Donald Trump's views. Liam White reporting.
A large federal raid in rural Idaho swept up hundreds of U.S. citizens alongside undocumented workers at a local racetrack.
A CBS News investigation reports that agents targeting alleged Mexican cartel gambling operations detained nearly 400 U.S. citizens and about 100 undocumented immigrants, with only a handful ultimately arrested on gambling charges. Kyle Norris reporting.
Weather forecasters are tracking a powerful winter system rolling from the Great Lakes toward the northeast.
Meteorologists say parts of Michigan and states farther east could see dangerous wind chills and fast-falling snow that make roads slick and visibility poor. Airlines are warning of delays and cancellations as the storm moves toward major airports, while highway crews prepare plows and salt trucks for round-the-clock work. Jessica Oakley reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Some of the best things in life come to those who wait, but we ain't waiting for shit. Radio Big.
Okay, here we go. Hanging out here on Radio Big and Safety FM combined because, we're still doing the simulcast. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 1950, Albert Einstein warns against the hydrogen bomb. In 1967, Keith Richard, Mick Jagger, and Marianne Faithfull are busted for drugs. And in 2000, Charlie Schulz, the creator of Peanuts, dies. So there you go. Also, in some other information, let's talk about some celebrity birthdays going on today. Michael McDonald turned 74. Joanne Kearns turned 73. Arsenio Hall turned 70. China Phillips turns 58. Josh Brolin, 58 as well. And Christina Ricci, she turns 46 today, just in case you did not know. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know. Apple may already be getting ready to roll out another new iPhone just months after its last one hit the shelves. Industry rumors suggest that Apple is preparing to launch the iPhone 17e, a follow-up to the more affordable iPhone 16e released last year. Analysts believe the new model could arrive within weeks, with at least one Apple expert predicting the launch is imminent. The 17th E isn't expected to be just as a cosmetic refresh. Reports say that Apple is planning to include an upgraded internal hardware, a signal of a more meaningful update despite the short turnaround since the last one. Apple's releasing a new iPhone so fast that your current one is already feeling insecure. 5 months old, an iPhone, and it's being replaced already. So there you go, some stuff to talk about. Also, in some other news, Gallup is getting out of the presidential approval game. The polling giant announced that it will stop tracking presidential approval ratings, ending the tradition that dates all the way back to Franklin Roosevelt. Gallup final approval snapshot of the president taken December the 1st through the 15th showed him at a 36% approval and 59% disapproval. The organization said the landscape has changed, with presidential approval polls now widely produced and aggregated, making it harder for Gallup to add unique value. For decades, Gallup set the gold standard at offering consistent month-to-month read on public sentiment towards the president. Now that space is crowded with dozens of others polling outfits. So there you go. There you go. Some stuff to talk about. What else do we got? Do we got anything else? Yeah, let's do this real quick. Here's last night's winning Powerball numbers. Jackpot was $126 million. The numbers were 6, 20, 33, 40, 48. Powerball was 5, and Power Play was 2. So there you go. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together at the top of the hour. I will be going over to radiobig.fm for the next couple hours or so. If you want to go over there, hang out, and do the things that we do. After that, we're going to call it because we're hanging out over there. Entertainment news and stuff going on inside of the world of music. If you don't want to go over there, that's perfectly fine. You can hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus, and he'll talk about the world of safety consulting. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. So there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. With that being said, that's going to sum it up. Let me leave you with some words of wisdom, if I may, today. You've got to get up every morning with determination if you're going to go to bed with satisfaction. Keep that in mind. I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.